Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another meal prep video. So today I have a few things to accomplish. It is Sunday and I have some different produce that I want to wash, some meals that I want to prep for dinners, some things that I want to prep for lunch. I don't really have a theme for this week's meal prep, but I do want to show you kind of what I have planned. Before I get started, I want to thank SKILLSHARE for sponsoring this week's meal prep video. I actually did a video with them before, which was my vegan meal prep video, which I can link down below. But if you're not familiar with SKILLSHARE, it's an online site where you can go and watch videos and take classes to learn a variety of different things. So some of the things I've watched have been on how to become a better writer, how to become better at food photography, how to do online branding and marketing. And more recently, I have been watching some classes from Plated, which is actually a meal prep or, a meal delivery service, but they have some culinary classes on SKILLSHARE, which I think you guys would be interested in. So let me show you what I'm watching today, and then I'll give you some details how you can get a free trial if you want to sign up. If you're like me and you watch YouTube all the time, SKILLSHARE is perfect because it's essentially like a really professional version of YouTube. You're going to get the same kind of content, but it's going to be a little bit more in depth because you have dedicated instructors. So let me show you the class really quick. Okay, so the other thing I love about SKILLSHARE is that they have their own dedicated app, and it's a really great platform as far as being able to save your classes and view your classes. And I think, a really good platform makes all the difference. So this is the class that I was watching yesterday and today, Knife Skills, a mini class to chop like a chef. So this is something that I think you guys would be interested in, just because I have heard from so many of you that you would like to learn more about knife skills. And I am working on a dedicated video for that, but I don't think it will be out for a little while. So in the meantime, I would encourage you to check out this class as well as some of the other Plated classes. They have ones on like how to make a really good grilled cheese, how to roast a chicken, etc., etc. So let me tell you how to sign up if you're interested.
Okay, so I'm going to include a link in the description box below if you guys are interested in getting 2 free months of SKILLSHARE to check out any of the classes that I mentioned. You can go ahead and use that link to do so. And now let's get back to the meal prep.
Okay, so here are kind of the things that I'm working with today. I'm not sure exactly how much I'm going to be able to get accomplished, but this is kind of what my intent is. So I have my meal plan or my menu plan for the week out here, and then I have a few things jotted down that I think I want to make. I do have a recipe for hummus and tabouleh, which I will link down below. The hummus recipe is from a magazine, but I can type that out for you guys. And then the tabouleh is a regular link. So I like making snack boxes with those. Also, I'm gonna prep some brats for Adam to take to work for lunch, some Thai pasta salad, which I do have a recipe link for that below, so I can link that too. Also, I was thinking about making this banana bread. This is from the newest Chrissy Teigen cookbook, and supposedly it's really good. I can link this cookbook down below. And then I was thinking about making maybe like some snack boxes with sausage and cheese. I have some salad mix. What else? What does that say? Veggies, fruit, salmon. I think that's it. Oh, I do want to make some cilantro lime dressing for some taco salads that we're going to have later in the week. And then, this is just a recipe that I'm going to make tomorrow. And then I also kind of want to make this ahead of time. This is the MAID-RITES meat. So we can have that for dinner this week, but this is a great thing to make ahead. So here's kind of everything that I have laid out. I have my spaghetti for the Thai pasta salad. These garbanzo beans are for the hummus. This bulgur wheat is for the tabouleh. These pitas are from Aldi. They're really cute, like mini pitas. So those would be for the Greek snack boxes. I have my salmon, which I want to cook with the the Asian style spicy peanut vinaigrette from Trader Joe's. I have some salad mix. I have some chicken thighs that I thought out. These are from actually a Home Chef meal for barbecue chicken flatbreads. So I want to work on that. The ginger is for the Thai salad. The shallot is for the barbecue chicken. I have some different produce that I want to get washed up. So I have some parsley, some cilantro, some asparagus, green onions, pepper. I want to get my fruits washed up. So grapes, strawberries, lettuce, cilantro, some cucumbers, some mangoes to cut up. So that's kind of what I'm working with today. So let's get started and see what we can get done.
Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to get started on for today's meal prep is sauteing up some chicken thighs along with some shallots, and then I'll add some barbecue sauce to that. So this will be part of a meal during the week. I'm going to make some barbecue chicken flatbreads. This was based on a Home Chef recipe, which I can link down below. But basically it's just like a naan bread with barbecue chicken on the top and cheese, and you can put pineapple or cilantro or whatever you want on it. But the way that I usually like to meal prep is just do it in components. So like I'm not meal prepping the whole dish necessarily. I'm just prepping part of it, so it makes it super easy to put together during the work week. So I just have some olive oil in a hot skillet. I'm adding the chicken thighs. I season them with salt, pepper, and garlic powder and a chopped up shallot. Once those are all cooked through, you can add your barbecue sauce. So I'm just adding a few packets of the Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, and then I just turn the heat off and let that sit to let the barbecue sauce soak into the chicken, and that's pretty much it. So once that has cooled off a little bit, I'll put it into a glass container, and then this will be super easy for me to just nuke in the microwave, put it on some flatbread, add some cheese, and we have a really quick weeknight dinner that is pretty much semi-homemade. The next thing that I wanted to prep was some salmon fillets. I am going to make a Thai noodle salad, which turned out really good, but I wanted some protein to have on the side as well. So I'm just putting a few pieces of salmon into a baking dish along with some olive oil, salt, pepper, garlic powder. I'm going to squeeze some lime juice over those. And then what I'm using to sort of marinate and cook them in is the Thai or the spicy Thai peanut dressing from Trader Joe's. If you guys have a Trader Joe's, this is one thing that I would totally recommend that you get from there. I've tried marinating chicken with it before. It's delicious. The salmon is delicious, and it's also really good as a salad dressing. So I just poured that over the top, and I'm going to bake these at 400 degrees for 15 minutes. And here's what they look like when they are done. These turned out really good, and it was the perfect side to this Thai noodle salad that I'm going to show you in a little bit. So once those cooled just a little bit, I'm going to put them in a plastic container and get them in the fridge for later use. Okay, so MAID-RITES or loose meat sandwiches. This is something that I get questions about whenever I make them, and it's definitely a Midwest thing. The restaurant MAID-RITE actually originated in the town where I am from, and if you've never had one before, essentially it's like kind of like a sloppy joe without the sauce. So it's just ground beef that you cook and steam until it's really tender. You add seasonings, and then you eat it on a bun with just regular burger toppings. So some people put like cheese whiz on them if you want like a cheese right, or you can put pickles, ketchup, mustard, basically whatever you want. So I make mine in the Instant Pot. I'll link the original recipe down below, which I believe is a crock pot recipe, but I like using the Instant Pot for mine. So I'm adding some beef bouillon, some chicken bouillon, some minced onion, and I have 3 pounds of ground beef in there that I just browned on the saute setting. You add a little bit of brown sugar, some apple cider vinegar, some Worcestershire sauce, and some soy sauce. And you can taste it when it's done cooking and add salt and pepper if you'd like, just to taste. But this makes like a really tender ground meat, and it's just really good. If you've never tried them, I would totally recommend it. But yeah, it's just kind of a tradition that we have around here. So once all those ingredients are added, I just put the top on my pot, and I'm going to cook these at high pressure for 12 minutes. Once it's done, I'm going to release it, and this is what you're left with. So just so you're aware, the meat will be a little bit saucy, and that's fine. When you scoop it out onto your buns, just make sure that you use a slotted spoon so that you don't get your buns super wet. But here's a look at the kids' plates that I fixed for them. I put some American cheese on Connors along with the meat, ketchup, mustard, pickle, and then he's having some tater tots and some applesauce on the side, and then on Kira's I just put ketchup. So yeah, that is how you make those. Now watch as I put salt into a pot of boiling water and make it overflow all over my stove because I'm awesome like that. But at any rate, I should have added the pasta first. I am boiling some water for some spaghetti, which are the noodles that I'm going to use for my Thai pasta salad. I also need cilantro for that, so I wanted to get some of that rinsed and washed up. I have my OXO salad spinner and I'm just putting the cilantro in there along with a splash of vinegar. I'll soak that for about 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, and then spin it dry. And then I'll have that for this dish and all week for other dishes as well. So this is a recipe from the channel Honeysuckle on YouTube here. I can link it down below. She's a really big channel. She does great cooking videos, and I saw her make this a couple weeks ago and I was like, oh, I have to have this because I love any like cold salad with like peanut dressing. It's just delicious, and it's a great thing to do for meal prep because it stays in the fridge for a couple days and you don't have to heat it back up. So for the dressing for this, you will need some lime juice, and then also the peanut butter is the base of this dressing. If you didn't want to use peanut butter, you could also use almond butter. So this recipe actually calls for linguine pasta, but I didn't have any, and since I'm doing a freezer challenge this month, or I'm sorry, a pantry challenge and freezer challenge this month, I just used spaghetti noodles and it worked just fine. So don't let that deter you. You can definitely substitute other shapes of pasta. So for the dressing for this, you'll need some lime juice, creamy peanut butter, honey, sesame oil, some minced garlic, avocado oil, but I actually used olive oil, and then minced ginger, which you can see I'm just grating it on my microplane grater there. If you don't have a microplane, I'll link one down below that I got on Amazon. It works really well for garlic and lemon zest and stuff like that. And then also some soy sauce. So I did have to add a little bit of hot water to the dressing to make sure that everything combined and the peanut butter loosened up. But otherwise, I followed the directions. I did probably make double the dressing just because I wanted to make sure that I had enough sauce to coat the vegetables and the pasta. But basically just keep whisking and tasting until it is seasoned to your taste. Like here I'm adding a little bit more lime juice. So just use the recipe as a guide and then add seasoning as you like it. After the dressing is all mixed together, you can go ahead and add your rinsed and drained pasta. Just make sure that you rinse your pasta under really cold water so that it stops cooking and doesn't stick together. I also added a couple cups of shredded cabbage or coleslaw mix into the bowl. I added some green onions, some cucumber. I did also buy some pre-shredded carrots just to make it a little bit easier on myself. And then I also add some cilantro. I always add more cilantro than the recipe calls for because I love it. But the recipe also says that you could use parsley or basil if you don't care for cilantro. So then I just used my tongs to toss all this up. Guys, this is seriously the best Asian noodle pasta salad that I have ever made. And I've made some different ones before, but now as I'm watching myself make this, I'm like, man, I should make some of this again because it was just so good. But anyway, that was delicious. I'll show you later how I prepped it up with the salmon. But next I'm going to cook some bratwurst or some brats. These are jalapeno cheddar bratwurst that I got at Hy-Vee. Sometimes I like to do these for like a low carb meal prep for Adam and I to have during the work week. How I like to cook brats inside is just I put some olive oil in a skillet and I brown them on both sides. And then once they're nicely browned on both sides, I actually pour in a can of beer. This is a good way to use up beer that is in your fridge if you don't really care for drinking it, because it doesn't really matter what kind of beer it is. It's just going to give the brats a little bit of flavor. So then I just braise those in the beer for probably about 15 minutes and then let them rest until they're cool, and it perfectly cooks your brats every time. So for meal prep, I like to cut these up. I always just think when I'm putting together a meal prep of how it's easiest to eat it like while I'm at work. So for example, like it's not very convenient for me to cut up a brat with a fork and knife at work. So I want to make sure that I pre-slice my meats so it's easier to eat. So I'm putting half of them in one container, half of them in another container. And then I'm also going to add some sauerkraut. And Adam took these to work and said they were delicious. Here in a little bit, I'm going to show you what I put on the side of those too. I get these little dressing cups on Amazon. I'll link them down below, but they're great for putting components of meal prep together that you don't want heated up. So you can just take out the sauerkraut, heat up the brats, and then eat it separate, or, eat it together so the sauerkraut's not hot. So for these little salads, I actually had some coleslaw mix left over and some shredded carrots. And then I had some dressing from a previous salad kit where the cabbage in that had gone bad. I didn't get a chance to use it. And so I'm just combining them into some little containers. So it's just the cabbage and carrots and sunflower seeds. And then I'm putting a little bit of that like poppy seed dressing over the top. And then I'll also sprinkle that with sunflower seeds. So this will be a great salad for my husband to take along with the brats, and it will be a nice semi-low carb lunch since there is a little bit of sugar in the dressing, but that is that. Okay, so now banana bread. So you guys have seen me make banana bread before. Normally I use Martha Stewart's recipe, which is a recipe I've been using for years and I've been super happy with it. But a couple people commented on my channel that I should try Chrissy Teigen's banana bread. So while we were down in Kansas City, I actually saw her cookbook in Target. It's the Cravings Hungry for More. I can link it down below. And I decided to pick it up. And yes, it has the banana bread in it. So we tried this out. This calls for baking it in a bundt pan. It's like a larger banana bread recipe. So you'll need 2 cups of mashed banana, which I use 6, and then I just mash them with a potato masher, and then I'm mixing them with some oil and egg. The recipe actually says not to use an electric mixer or a stand mixer for this, so I did just go ahead and use a good old wooden spoon and my bowl. I'm also going to combine the dry ingredients together. So 2 cups of flour, 2 cups of sugar, a box of vanilla pudding mix, and then baking soda and salt. Now the recipe also calls for like a chopped up dark chocolate bar, which I didn't have on hand. I decided to use peanut butter chips instead, which were actually really good with the banana bread. And then it called for shredded coconut. I don't know how wild my kids would be about having shredded coconut in banana bread. And honestly, I'm probably not, if we're being truthful, I'm not that wild about it either. So I left those 2 things out. But I did go ahead and fold the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients, making sure not to overmix. And then here's that half bag of peanut butter chips that I added. So once that's all combined, I went ahead and used a paper towel to grease my bundt pan. So if you've never used a bundt pan before, the most important thing is really just greasing it very, very thoroughly and flouring it. So I just put some softened butter in there, and then I'm using a paper towel to kind of get into all the nooks and crannies of the pan. You can sprinkle a little bit of flour in there and then just kind of tilt your pan around until you get it all coated with the butter and the flour. This is really the best way to make sure that your cake or your banana bread will not stick. So you can see that's all nicely coated. Next, I will go ahead and pour in the banana bread. So since I did this meal prep last weekend and we've had a chance to eat this, I can give you my thoughts on it. I don't know that I would make it like this again. If I make this recipe again, I will honestly probably put it in 2 loaf pans. I thought the bundt pan was like way too dense and the middle of it didn't quite get cooked, even though I left it in the oven for like an hour and 15 minutes. So that's just my feedback. Either that or I would cut the recipe in half and just do it in 1 loaf pan. So here's what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. It does look really pretty. And it did come out of the pan really nicely. I would say that this recipe too is a little too sweet for me. I think with the pudding mix along with the 2 cups of sugar, it's just, to me, it was just way too sweet. So if I made it again, I would definitely cut back on the sugar as well. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to work on is some tabouleh. This is a Lebanese salad that's made with bulgur wheat and lemon juice, parsley, tomatoes, and cucumbers. It's really fresh and really delicious. If you've never cooked bulgur wheat before, you just put it into a bowl, add a little bit of salt and some boiling water, and you basically just let that sit for 20 minutes until it is cooked and all of the water is absorbed. So, you know, the primary flavor in this salad is really the parsley, I think. So you need definitely a ton of parsley. So I washed and dried a big bunch of parsley, and I'm just chopping that, you know, finely to put it into the bowl for my salad. If you are wondering where I got these stainless steel bowls, my mom actually got them for me. They're available on Amazon. I'll link them down below. I really like them because not only are they stainless steel, but they have a handle and a spout on them, and they also come with lids, which is really nice. So, okay, another thing you'll need is some fresh mint. So I'm chopping that up as well and getting it into the bowl. Also, I will cut up some cucumbers. So these are just the mini little English cucumbers. You just want to make sure that when you're making this salad, you chop up all the vegetables into tiny pieces. That way it's easier to eat and it comes together more easily. So I'm just going to get these cucumbers chopped up and into the bowl with my herbs. All right, next I'm going to add some chopped tomatoes. So I just had these tomatoes on the vine that I got from the grocery store. So I'm just slicing these and then cutting them into small pieces. You can see that I'm not being super neat or precise about it, and that's fine. It's all going to go into the salad and get stirred up anyway. So I just wanted to try and cut these into as like-sized pieces with the cucumber as I could. So once those are in the bowl, I'm going to add some green onions. So the recipe only calls for 1 green onion, but I think I added about 3 just because I didn't feel like 1 was enough for this size salad. And to make the dressing, you will need lemon juice, as well as olive oil and salt, and I also added a little pepper, but that's it. This salad is super simple. One thing that I haven't tried is adding feta cheese. You know, the recipe as is a vegan recipe, and so obviously it wouldn't be vegan if you added the feta. But I do think the feta would add like a really nice flavor to it, and so I might try that next time. So just going to give this a stir, and then those are all the veggies and the dressing. So then I will add the bulgur wheat back in and just stir that up to combine. This will keep in the refrigerator for about 5 days, I would say, and it's really delicious, and I love taking it to work for lunch. Okay, so to go with the tabouleh, I'm actually going to make some hummus as well, because I have some pita breads that I want to use up, and I'm going to make some little like snack boxes for us to take to work. So this hummus recipe is my favorite, and it is from the 2012 edition of Cook's Country magazine. I'll type it out in the description box below because I can't find it online, but you will add your chickpeas to your food processor, and I'm actually doubling this recipe just so you're aware, and then you add your seasonings and your cloves of garlic and just process that until the chickpeas are in little fine chunks. And then to this you'll also add some water, some lemon juice, and then at the end you'll add extra virgin olive oil and some tahini, which tahini is sesame seed paste. So that is how you make hummus. It's delicious. You could definitely try different add-ins if you wanted to add like roasted red pepper or sun-dried tomato or jalapenos or cilantro. Personally, when I make it at home, I just like to make it plain because that's how I like it the most. And then I usually eat it with either pita breads or carrots, or it's really good with sliced cucumber as well. So you can see there for the tahini and the olive oil, I'm just adding that to the food processor through the top feeder while it's still running. I have a Cuisinart food processor that Adam got me for Christmas a couple years ago. This food processor is the bomb. I love it. It's a little bit expensive, but if you invest in it, you'll never have to buy another one. So I'll link that down below. It is available on Amazon. Okay, so to prepare my little bento boxes, I have these glass bento boxes from Amazon, and every time I use them, you guys always want to know where I get them. So I'll be sure to link them down below, but I really love them for meal prep. So to those, I'm just adding some pita breads that I cut in half. I got these from Aldi. I'm adding some of the salad to one of the containers, and then also adding some hummus. So those will make up those little snack boxes. These are great to take to work for a snack or lunch. I always look forward to eating these when I take them to work. I'm also adding some of the Fresh Jack's Greek seasoning on these, and I have a link down below always in my description box for their spices. I use them all the time, and especially the Greek seasoning is really, really good on hummus. Okay, so next I'm going to prep one of the adult size Yum boxes. I think these are called the Yum Box Tapas, but these I also get on Amazon, and I have one adult one and 3 kids ones that we use for lunches for ourselves and the kids. But to this, I'm adding some of the salad, some pita bread, some hummus, some black olives, and then I'm also going to add just a little bit of sliced cucumber. So I did take this to work for lunch one day this week, and I was able to use the hummus for both dipping the cucumber and dipping the pita, and it was really good and really healthy and really filling. Okay, so the last thing that I'm going to prep is some Cafe Rio cilantro lime dressing. And this is going to be for some taco salads that we're going to have this week. So to the food processor, I'm adding some mayo. I actually had some veganese to use up, so I went ahead and did half that, half regular mayo. I'm adding some ranch seasoning mix and some half and half. I can't remember if the recipe called for milk or half and half, but I used half and half. I also am adding some garlic, some green salsa, and some lime juice, and then you'll add a bunch of cilantro. So this is really good. I actually have never been to Cafe Rio because we don't have them here in the Midwest, at least to my knowledge. But every time I see stuff on YouTube from there, I'm just like, oh my God, that looks so delicious, and I wish I could eat at one. But at any rate, you're just going to combine everything into the food processor and zhuzh it up. Is that a word? I like to say zhuzh. Zhuzh it up until it is nice and combined. I always make sure to taste it just to make sure if it doesn't need salt, pepper, or anything like that. And then this will keep in the fridge for 7 to 10 days. It is really delicious. I just put it into a mason jar or an old spaghetti jar. And then this is really good on chicken tacos or like chicken taco salad that we will have later in the week. Okay, now a recap.
So we are at the end of this week's meal prep, and I feel like there should be more food, but then I remembered that we already ate some of it. But it's the next day, and I finished up today, but I still wanted to give you guys a look at everything that I made for us to have for the upcoming work week. So I did make the sort of little snack boxes with the tabbouleh and the homemade hummus and the cut up pitas. These are like my very favorite meal prep to make. I just love all the flavors together, and I love all the ingredients. It's just so like fresh and healthy. I also made up one of these adult size Yum boxes with the same thing basically, except I added some sliced up cucumber and some olives. I also had a little bit extra of the salad and the hummus, which I just put in some of these clear containers to keep in the fridge. I also did some prep for Adam's lunches. So I have the brats here that I braised in the beer with sauerkraut, and then a little bit of this sunflower crunch coleslaw mix. So this will be 1-2 meals for him this week. I prepped this for Connor to take to lunch one day this week. So this, I don't believe I filmed this, but this just has the cut up turkey sausage sticks from Aldi, cucumbers, olives, strawberries, and some cut up cheese. And then I also made the cold Thai noodle salad. I've actually I've actually eaten 2 containers of this already. So I have 1 container here left of that, and then 1 container here left of half of that, along with some of the salmon I made. And then the other half of the salmon, I ate part of it for dinner last night, and part of it Kira took to school for lunch. So that is why I have less of that, but that looks delicious, and I'm looking forward to eating that. I also have some hamburger meat that I made up for the MAID-RITES. We had those for dinner last night, and then the rest of this will be for the cheeseburger flatbreads that I'm going to make later in the week. If there's any extra, we can eat it as leftovers, or I can freeze it. It's basically just cooked ground beef, so I can use it for anything down the road. And then I also have my barbecue chicken thighs that will be for my flatbreads. So these will be for one kind of meal together. I'm looking forward to trying this banana bread. So I don't believe I've ever made banana bread in a bundt pan before, but it smells delicious. I turned it out on a cooling rack, and after it cools completely, I'll be putting it in this cake dome, but that will be great for us to have for breakfast during the week. And then lastly, I didn't film this, but I just wanted to share something that I do on a regular basis that may be helpful. So I often use my slow cooker during the week, since it is great to throw things in the morning and then come home to, you know, a hot meal at the end of the day. But I often do not have time to put everything in before I go to work. So one thing that I like to do is just fill my slow cooker up like 1 to 2 days before I'm gonna cook it. And then I just basically put the lid on. You know, this is like the crock from the slow cooker, and then you can put this right in the fridge. So this is an Italian drip beef recipe from Pioneer Woman. It's a little bit different than the normal Italian beef that I make, but I thought I would try her recipe, so I can link that down below. But we are gonna have this tomorrow. So I just have this kind of covered up out in the garage refrigerator, ready for me to stick in my slow cooker before I go to work tomorrow morning. But that is what I got done for this week. My meal prep does look a little bit different every week. You'll notice that I did not get a lot of my produce washed up this weekend, but that's okay. I can do that as we go this week. It's always something new around here, and always looks different every week. So don't forget to check out Skillshare if you are interested in more cooking type videos online. I'll have that link down below. Otherwise, I will see you in my next video. Bye.